Starting a new job feels like a fresh chapter. You walk in hopeful, excited, maybe even a little nervous. You imagine doing meaningful work, building great relationship, and growing in your career. But sometimes the reality is very different. One person can poison the entire experience, and I have seen it across industries, countries, and even roles I once dreamed of. Hi, I'm Aliftina, and this is a Book Bites Club, where we explore books that help you grow your career, mindset, and confidence. Today's book is the one I wish more people read before they hit burnout. It's called The No Echo Rule, and it gives you tools to spot toxic behavior early and protect your peace if you can't walk away. This book, written by Stanford professor Robert Sutton, The No Echo Rule began as a viral Harvard Business Review article and quickly became a workplace classic. Here are 6 lessons from the book that every professional should know, especially if you have ever felt stuck in a toxic team or draining workplace. So, let's get into it.
Key lessons from the book. 1. Toxic people hurt more than feelings. Let me tell you something I've seen time and again, across countries, industries, and roles. Toxic coworkers don't just ruin your day. They can derail your entire sense of self. Sutton shares research showing that toxic people cause higher turnover, lower performance, increased burnout, and even physical illness. Example. I once worked with a team where one senior leader constantly interrupted others, dismissed junior staff, and took credit for team efforts. Over 6 months, half the team left, not because of the work but because of him. The rest? Burnt out and emotionally checked out. Key insight. One toxic person can undo the work of 10 good ones. What to do? Name it. Don't gaslight yourself. If you feel consistently drained after certain interactions, pay attention. Track it. Document patterns, dates, behaviors, impact. It's not petty, it's smart. Find your people. Look for allies at work who share your values. You don't have to face this alone. Remember, you're not being too sensitive. You're being aware, and that's leadership. 2. Culture is what you allow. Here's something I've learned the hard way. Culture isn't written in a handbook. It's revealed in the moments no one's watching. Every company says they value collaboration, respect, or integrity. But what really matters is what they tolerate and what they reward. Example, some companies use a no a-hole rule in hiring. If someone is rude to the receptionist, they're out, no matter how talented they are. Key insight. A great culture isn't what you write down. It's what you protect, especially when it's inconvenient. What to do? If you're job hunting, pay attention to the little moments. Do people listen to each other? Is there warmth or tension? If you're a leader, make it clear. No one is too senior to be kind. Praise respect publicly, and act quickly when you see it eroded. Your culture lives or dies in what you choose to overlook. 3. If you can't leave, protect yourself. Let's be honest, not everyone has the luxury to walk away from a toxic job. Sometimes you're staying for the visa. Sometimes it's the money your family depends on. Sometimes you're just holding out for that one last thing, equity, a promotion, a better opportunity. And that's okay. Survival is a strategy. Example, a former colleague of mine moved countries for a role. The environment turned toxic fast. Constant criticism, exclusion from meetings, and unrealistic deadlines. But her visa was tied to the job. Quitting wasn't an option. What did she do? She kept records. She limited contact with the worst offenders. She made friends in other teams. She even started therapy and carved out joy outside work. Eventually, she used that time to plan her exit and landed a far better role where she finally felt seen. Key insight. Protecting your mental health isn't weakness, it's survival, especially when escape isn't immediate. What to do? Limit exposure. If someone drains you, keep interactions brief and focused. Document everything, emails, meeting notes, incidents. It's not petty, it's protection. Find support. Whether it's allies inside or a coach therapist outside, don't isolate yourself. Recharge outside work. Your job isn't your identity. Do things that restore you. Stay strategic. You're not stuck. You're staging your next move. Quiet strength is still strength. 4. Toxicity spreads fast. There's a quiet danger in toxic workplaces. You start changing too. At first you're just surviving, but over time survival mode becomes your norm. You stop offering praise. You get snappier. You shrink your empathy just to protect yourself. Example, I once worked with someone who was one of the kindest people I knew. Thoughtful, collaborative, generous. But 6 months into a high-stress, high-blame culture, I saw her change. She stopped speaking up in meetings. She started criticizing others to avoid being criticized herself. One day she told me, "I don't even recognize how I show up at work anymore." And that's the cost we don't talk about enough. Not just losing the job we wanted, but losing pieces of who we are. Key insight: don't become what you're trying to survive. What to do? Self-check often. Are you speaking with less kindness? Avoiding collaboration? Feeling numb or cynical? Set a kindness reset. Start your day with one act of encouragement: an email, a compliment, a moment of patience. It's a small way to reclaim yourself. Talk it out. Find someone outside your team who sees you. Perspective can be a mirror that helps you realign. You can't always fix a toxic system, but you can choose not to let it rewrite your character. 5. Kindness is a leadership skill. Let's debunk a myth. Kindness isn't a weakness. It's a competitive advantage. Robert Sutton makes it clear. Nice workplaces don't just feel better, they perform better. They're more innovative, more collaborative, and more likely to keep their best people. Why? Because trust isn't just a vibe, it's a force multiplier. Example: I once consulted with 2 teams at the same company. One was led by a high-performing but fear-driven manager, quick to criticize, slow to praise. The other was led by someone who genuinely listened, gave credit freely, and protected her people. Guess which team met their targets with less overtime and higher morale? The kind one, every time. Key insight: being respectful isn't extra, it's foundational. People don't give their best to leaders who make them feel small. What to do? If you're job hunting, watch for signals during interviews. Are people interrupting each other? Is there eye contact, warmth, a sense of mutual respect? If you're a leader, start every one by asking how someone's really doing. Celebrate progress, not just outcomes. Protect kindness like a business asset, because it is. If you're in a tough culture, model the tone you wish you worked in. One kind person in a room of stress can shift the dynamic more than you think. Kindness isn't soft, it's strong, and in the long run, it wins. 6. Spot red flags early. Toxic cultures rarely show up wearing name tags, but if you pay attention during the hiring process, they always leave clues. Example: a friend once interviewed with a company that looked amazing on paper. Great brand, big salary, fast growth. But when she asked how the team handles disagreements, the hiring manager laughed and said, "We just do what the boss says and move on." She had the offer by Friday. She turned it down by Saturday. 6 months later, she heard from someone on that team. It was a pressure cooker. High turnover. Constant blame. Her gut had been right. Key insight: first impressions aren't just about you making one. They're also your chance to receive one and decode it. What to do? Ask deeper questions. What happens when someone makes a mistake here? Or, can you give me an example of a tough team moment and how it was handled? Watch the in-between moments. How do people treat each other when they're not talking to you? The warmth or absence of it matters. Listen beyond the words. Vague responses, deflection, or language that mocks weak people are flashing red lights. Gut check. If you find yourself justifying red flags, pause. A job you need shouldn't cost you your peace. The best way to avoid a toxic culture? Spot it before you join it.
Conclusion.
The No A-Hole Rule is a guidebook for anyone who's ever been worn down by a bad boss or toxic teammate. It helps you name the problem, protect your boundaries, and make better choices going forward. And if you're searching for a new role, make sure you're not just focused on salary or title. Look for teams that value emotional intelligence and use tools like JobGen.ai to help you apply with purpose, not panic. Comment below. What's one subtle red flag that tells you a workplace might be toxic or healthy? If you enjoyed this, give the video a like, subscribe to Book Bites Club, and I'll see you next time with more books to help you grow in work and in life.